He was the face of the bar. She was the heart of the show. Together, Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix were Vanderpump Rules power couple, chaotic, magnetic, real. At least, that's what we thought. Because while Ariana was planning their future, Tom was planning late-night rehearsals, secret text threads, and stolen moments with her best friend, Raquel Leviss. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a public implosion. A scandal so loud, it didn't just shake Bravo. It shattered the internet. Dubbed Scandoval, this wasn't just a cheating story. It was a masterclass in deception, entitlement, and emotional destruction. How does someone look their partner in the eye on national television while hiding a months-long affair? How does a friend sit across from you, laugh with you, share secrets with you, knowing she's sleeping with the man you love? And how does a woman like Ariana, smart, self-aware, brutally honest, miss every single red flag? If you think this is just tabloid drama, think again. This is about trust, about public humiliation, about healing under the spotlight. Because in the end, Scandoval wasn't just a betrayal. It was a reckoning. Like, comment, and subscribe to Lies Unveiled for more stories that expose the truth behind the headlines. This is Scandoval, and it's worse than you think. Ariana Madix wasn't new to pain. She had battled anxiety, struggled with grief, and fought off online hate more times than she could count. But love was the one thing she thought she had figured out. She met Tom Sandoval in 2013. It wasn't fireworks at first sight, but there was chemistry. A quirky, offbeat understanding. They were both performers, both charming, both craving something real in a world made for cameras. For years, they became that couple on Vanderpump Rules. The one that didn't scream, didn't cheat, didn't break under pressure. While the rest of the cast exploded, Ariana and Tom seemed grounded. He was spontaneous, flamboyant, always dreaming up the next cocktail lounge or cover band gig. She was sarcastic, brutally honest, a realist who rolled her eyes at reality TV cliches. Their dynamic worked until it didn't, because behind Ariana's strength was vulnerability, and behind Tom's charisma was chaos brewing. Friends whispered about friction. Tom wanted marriage, then didn't. Ariana wanted a home, peace, and maybe a child, but not under pressure. Then came the subtle shifts. Tom staying out later. New friends. New shows. Too much cologne. Too many band rehearsals. Ariana defended him, laughed off the rumors, clung to the idea that love, real love, could survive even in front of rolling cameras and gossip blogs. But fame is not a friend to intimacy. And in their case, fame was a mirror. One Ariana refused to look into, until it shattered in her hands. At first, it was just a look, a pause too long, a smile that lingered. Raquel Leviss had always been part of the circle, a former pageant queen with a sweet demeanor and soft-spoken charm. Ariana had defended her more times than she could count, called her misunderstood, shielded her from harsh comments, let her cry on her shoulder when things went wrong with James Kennedy. She never expected to be betrayed by the girl she once called safe. But something shifted in the air. Tom started bringing Raquel around more often. Late-night parties, group hangouts. Nothing out of the ordinary until it was. They joked together. Inside references Ariana didn't get. Raquel laughing a little too loudly at Tom's jokes. Tom brushing her arm when he thought no one was looking. It was subtle. So subtle that even Ariana, the queen of emotional intelligence, missed it. Because you don't look for betrayal in someone you love. And you never look for it in someone you've protected. What made it worse was how long it had been going on. 7 months. Behind Ariana's back. under the same roof. In group trips, cast dinners, birthdays, Raquel would smile, hug Ariana, tell her how lucky she was to have a man like Tom, while sleeping with him behind closed doors. And Tom? He kept the charade going, posted Instagram tributes to Ariana, spoke of their strong foundation, all while lying beside someone else at night. The affair was revealed in the most millennial of ways. A leaked video on Tom's phone. A recording of Raquel doing something explicit. Something Ariana should have never seen, but had to. It wasn't just the sex. It was the intimacy. Pet names. Promises. Plans to run away together. Raquel had gone from little sister to rival overnight. And Tom? He didn't deny it. He just apologized. As if sorry could erase the months of manipulation. As if it wasn't a choice. Made again and again. They say gut instinct never lies. And Ariana? She felt it. Long before the video. Long before the world exploded. She noticed the small absences. The text messages with no context. The excuses rehearsed and reused. The emotional distance that grew so slowly. She mistook it for change. But Ariana had been here before. Not with Tom. With life. She had lost her father to suicide. Lost faith in herself more than once. So when cracks appeared in her relationship, she didn't assume betrayal. She assumed trauma. Pain. Something she could help heal. Not something that would break her. She blamed herself. Maybe she'd become too focused on work. Maybe she wasn't affectionate enough. Maybe Tom needed more adventure, and she'd been too settled. So she overcompensated. Planned more nights in, more emotional check-ins. Asked him if he was okay, even when she was the one unraveling. But silence has a cost. Because while Ariana was trying to hold things together, Tom was building a second life behind her back. And when the truth came out, not from his mouth, but from his mistake, everything shattered. Ariana didn't scream, didn't throw things. She froze. Heartbreak doesn't always sound like sobs. Sometimes it's just a woman staring at a phone screen, realizing her world isn't real. And the worst part? She had known. Maybe not consciously, but her body knew. Her insomnia, her sudden anxiety, her need to constantly prove she was good enough. That wasn't love. That was survival. For months, Ariana had held onto a ghost of a relationship. One that smiled for cameras, posed for press, but was empty behind the scenes. She even defended Tom when fans speculated. She told people he was just misunderstood, that their love was stronger than rumors. But now she saw it all clearly. The lies, the gaslighting, the subtle ways she'd been made to doubt her own reality. When the truth finally broke, it didn't trickle. It detonated. One leaked video. A single damning clip on Tom's phone. A moment of Raquel in private in his camera roll. Accidentally seen by Ariana. That's all it took. And suddenly, the secret was out. But it wasn't just a breakup. It was a Scandoval. The kind of betrayal that transcended reality TV. It became a cultural flashpoint. Ariana, the loyal, empathetic girlfriend, stood blindsided. Tom, the partner of 9 years, revealed as a master of deception. And Raquel, the best friend, unmasked as the other woman. Fans were outraged. Celebrities tweeted. Talk shows dissected every detail. TikTok exploded with reaction videos, stitches, and breakdowns. Podcasts released emergency episodes. It wasn't just gossip. It was grief. People identified with Ariana. She was every woman who had ever trusted too deeply. only to be betrayed by the ones closest to her. But Ariana? She didn't hide. Within hours of the scandal, she was back, not just surviving, but shining. No public meltdown, no bitter Instagram posts, just quiet rage and powerful presence. She filmed scenes for Vanderpump Rules, raw and unfiltered, spoke with clarity and strength, refusing to downplay the betrayal. No more silence, no more pretending. One scene would go viral, Ariana confronting Tom, her voice steady but razor sharp. "You don't deserve one tear from me, and Raquel doesn't deserve to look in my direction." Mic dropped. America cheered. But the internet, as always, had layers. While many rallied behind Ariana, others dissected her pain. Memes spread like wildfire. Reaction clips became monetized content. Her trauma became entertainment. That's the curse of public betrayal. You don't just lose someone. You lose privacy. You cry, and they capture screenshots. You heal, and they create hashtags. But through it all, Ariana did something remarkable. She reclaimed the narrative, appearing on talk shows, signing brand deals, launching her own products. She turned heartbreak into a comeback. This wasn't revenge. It was rebirth. Because while the world laughed at Tom's excuses and gasped at Raquel's lack of remorse, Ariana was already 10 steps ahead. And every woman who had ever whispered "me too" finally had a face on screen, fighting back without becoming bitter. This wasn't just celebrity drama. Scandoval hit differently because it mirrored something deeply human. Betrayal from within your safest circle. Tom Sandoval wasn't some distant movie villain. He was the charming boyfriend, the man who cooked meals, played in a band, joked with Ariana's friends. He was, for many, the image of a stable, goofy partner. That's why it stung. Because betrayal doesn't begin with the act. It begins with trust. And Ariana had given him everything. 9 years of building a life with a man who, it turns out, was constructing a second story behind her back. Worse, he did it with someone Ariana had brought close. A friend she hugged, defended, and shared private moments with. Psychologists call this a double wound. Not just romantic betrayal, but social betrayal. It's why audiences were outraged. It wasn't about cheating. It was about being gaslit by people you love. About being made to feel crazy, while others smile and say, "You're overthinking it." Ariana had once defended Tom against rumors. She told fans, "He's loyal. I know him." That's what makes betrayal brutal. Not the act itself, but the realization that you were the last to know. That everyone saw the cracks, while you kept painting the walls. For women especially, this betrayal echoed louder, because society often trains them to keep the peace, to forgive, to be cool girlfriends, to ignore red flags for the sake of stability. Ariana embodied that struggle. She wasn't dramatic. She wasn't controlling. She was patient, and she paid the price. And Raquel? Her betrayal wasn't just about a kiss. It was about proximity. The sleepovers, the fake support, the late-night talks where she acted like Ariana's friend, while being anything but. People weren't just hurt for Ariana. They were hurt with her, because everyone has known a Raquel. A friend who watches your life closely, only to take what you love. Scandoval wasn't shocking because it was unique. It was shocking because it was relatable. Millions saw themselves in Ariana. Her heartbreak wasn't scripted. It was human. And in that reflection, the public found something rare. Not just entertainment, but catharsis. Because for once, A woman didn't stay quiet. She didn't take him back. She didn't question her worth. She walked head held high, without the need for vengeance. That's why Scandoval still trends. Not because of scandal, but because of resonance. After the dust settled, after the interviews, the memes, the headlines faded, Ariana Madix did something remarkable. She didn't become the betrayal. She became the response. Instead of spiraling, she stood up, not with loud revenge, not with petty shots, but with presence. A quiet, stunning, undeniable presence that said, "You broke me, but you will not define me." Her first major move? Living boldly. She booked interviews, but never played victim. She didn't cry for sympathy. She spoke with clarity. "I don't think about Scandoval anymore," she said in a recent interview, "because it no longer lives rent-free in my mind." That line went viral because it didn't sound bitter. It sounded free. She launched a cocktail brand, wrote a book, walked red carpets, danced her heart out on Dancing with the Stars. She became the symbol of post-betrayal rebirth. And let's be clear, it wasn't just a rebrand. It was a reclamation. For years, she had played the supporting role, the cool, calm girlfriend behind the fun guy of Vanderpump Rules. But now, she was the headline, no longer orbiting someone else's chaos. And women across America, especially those who had been gaslit, betrayed, discarded, looked at Ariana and saw a mirror, a version of themselves who refused to collapse, who didn't need to win him back, who didn't chase closure, who realized, "I don't need your apology. I need myself back." Her story became more than entertainment. It became empowerment. Because what Ariana taught wasn't just how to survive cheating. She taught how to thrive after it. And the greatest revenge wasn't exposing Sandoval. It was becoming so radiant, so successful, so full of self-worth, that his absence didn't hurt. It healed. The public watched as Ariana turned pain into power, grief into grit, shame into spotlight. And while Tom Sandoval faced backlash, awkward interviews, career fallout, Ariana just kept rising. She didn't chase a narrative. She rewrote it. And in doing so, she gave the rest of us a new framework. That betrayal doesn't end you. It begins something braver. This wasn't just another celebrity breakup. This was a blueprint, a wake-up call. Because the Scandoval scandal wasn't shocking because it was rare. It was shocking because it was so familiar. We all know a Sandoval, that charismatic partner who uses charm to cover ego, the one who plays the victim while causing destruction. We all know a Raquel, the friend who smiles in your photos while texting your boyfriend behind your back. And most of us have been Ariana, the one who stayed, who gave the benefit of the doubt, who silenced red flags in the name of love. That's why this story hit so hard. Because it didn't happen on a Hollywood set. It happened in our group chats, in our families, in our homes. It was the betrayal you never thought would happen, until it did. So what did we learn? 1. Gaslighting thrives in silence. Sandoval didn't cheat overnight. He lied, deflected, played innocent, made Ariana feel crazy for asking questions. And that's what so many of us relate to. Not just the betrayal, but the manipulation before it. 2. Boundaries aren't cruelty. After the affair, Ariana cut ties. No dramatic confrontations. No fake friendships. She walked away because healing doesn't require you to be nice. It requires you to be clear. 3. You can love someone and still choose yourself. Ariana didn't get over Tom by hating him. She outgrew him. She chose peace over performance. And that's the hardest lesson of all. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go of the story you wanted and make space for something real. So what now? Now we look inward. If you're watching this and it feels too real, if you're sitting with betrayal in your chest, with questions that never got answered, let this story be your mirror. Not every betrayal will go viral, but every betrayal deserves to be acknowledged. You deserve clarity. You deserve honesty. You deserve to be loved without lies. And if you've been made to feel small, unworthy, replaceable, remember this. Betrayal didn't break Ariana. It built her, and it can build you too. So don't stay silent. Don't carry shame that isn't yours. Don't let someone else's cowardice define your worth. Has this story ever happened to you? Have you been betrayed by someone you trusted the most? Drop a comment. Subscribe to Lies Unveiled for more deep, unfiltered confessions. Because here, we don't just tell stories. We reclaim power, one broken truth at a time.